On this week's show,
we've got Crunch Lunch
and Green Gladiators.
So this week is a report from House of Lords, where Lord Laird invited us to meet Edward de Bono hosting the Crunch Lunch.
What on earth is a Crunch Lunch?
The Crunch Lunch is a lunch where all these people turned up to this wonderful event, but only half of those attending the lunch got a full sumptuous meal, and the other half got a bowl of rice. So this initiated some real conversation about the issues we face as humans on the planet, about the lottery in life, about lateral thinking, and we watched how people engaged and did different things with their meals and sort of worked together. So it's a great report.
Good report, yeah.
There's 3 minutes now, but there's also a 10-minute report, so watch them both because they're great.
And then after that we went and interviewed Sky's Green Gladiator. Her name's Amazon, you may have seen her, and she's very into recycling, but she's also very into, she's got a wormery of her own, supplied apparently by wiggly worms. So if you're squeamish, that might not be for you, but watch the worm programme.
Worms are very positive.
Worms are very positive, indeed.
And then also our midweek report is from the PTV Foundation. And last London's Fashion Week, we meant to meet Joe Woods and Safia Mini, talking about the fantastic work they're doing around the world with artisans, where all our clothes are made, and how they're trying to improve people's lives, get them better paid, and to bring sustainable and ethical fashion to the whole industry, because it's really important.
What was your fact about fashion?
Today I believe that 1 in 6 humans work in the fashion industry in one way or another. It's incredible, isn't it?
It's a lot.
See you soon.
Thanks, bye.
Bye. Hello, well, PositiveTV are very excited and honoured to be here at House of Lords. Lord Laird has invited us here to an initiative called the Crunch Lunch.
We are trying to have a lunch which will be unique in the annals of the history, 800 years history of the House of Lords. We're deliberately trying to set out to be provocative and make people think. I think this year with the Credit Crunch is a great opportunity for society to change for the better. But to do that, we have to think differently. Now, what we're proposing to do here is we invited people along for a lovely lunch, but only 50% of them will get the lovely lunch. By the lottery of life, the other 50% will simply get a bowl of rice and a glass of water, and they think themselves lucky to get that. Now, we want to see what the dynamics of the table are at that stage. Do you give some of your lunch to the next door neighbour, and if you give it to the one on the right, do you give it to the guy on the left? Or do you give it to the guy straight in front of you? And what do you talk about? Edward de Bono is one of the major lateral and positive thinkers of this generation. He has written a series of books on lateral thinking and positive thinking. He's been credited with changing minds in many parts of the world, government minds, education minds, opening people up to looking at things from a different end. It's part of the old idea that an opportunity is simply a problem looked at from a different end. And very kindly he agreed, Dr. de Bono, to come along and give the keynote speech. We're setting the tone for what I think will be the lunch fit for the crunch.
Hello, my name is Kent Walwyn and I represent Planet Matters, and we're the sponsors for the event here today at the House of Lords, and we are featuring the Edward de Bono Foundation. Planet Matters is a group of businesses that tries to conduct itself in an environmentally friendly and energy efficient manner. And we particularly are here because we have a sports academy in Sierra Leone with the Right to Dream charity and the Craig Bellamy Foundation.
My name's Louise Vernon and our project is Right to Dream.
Today at the House of Lords I'm representing a new movement called World Shift 2012. It's an initiative from the Club of Budapest founded by Dr. Irvin Laszlo. World Shift is going to be launched actually on the 9th of September 2009, which is here in the UK and elsewhere in the world our emergency number. It is going to call a declaration of a state of global emergency. It is actually going to then suggest solutions to the social, environmental and economic problems that the world is facing today.
While we've got thousands of people writing software for computers, we have done nothing about software for human thinking for 2,400 years. There are other aspects of thinking, perceptual, creative, design, exploratory, which do not fall into our traditional modes of thinking. Statoil in Norway had a problem with an oil rig, cost them $100,000 a day till they solved it. They'd been thinking about it for 3 weeks, couldn't reach a decision. Then one of my trainers, Jens Arup, working with them, introduced the hats. In 12 minutes, they had a solution saving them $10 million. So we're looking at huge changes in human thinking using a different framework, using exploration, parallel thinking, instead of argument and attacking thinking. That has now become very widely used.
You will see in front of you a card with either a red dot or a green dot. Whatever colour comes out first is the bowl of rice. Are we agreed? Red! We want to see how you feel on the day when you are confronted with one of the major problems of society today, hunger.
I have only bread on the plate. Well, this is because my card has got a red dot on it, and all of us here with the red dots, well, we get to have bread and possibly rice, and that's going to be our lunch.
We're trying war. We're going to have a go at enslaving another table to see if we can get their goods off them.
We had a pact before the draw was made that whatever colour came out, we were going to share whatever.
I've used a little lateral thinking here, thanks to Dr. Edward, because it dawned on me that perhaps the woman beside me, who was having the full meal, might not be turning up. But they laid it there, her full meal, and I've borrowed it. Dr. De Bono, lateral thinking.
Very good start, and my neighbours have been very generous, so I'm actually better than if I had the other card.
Well, there's not only sharing, but there's actually a few fiddles. A few people have been fiddling the books, and by doing that, they've actually created a kind of an analogy between the first world and the third world. They've done some people out of their food, and they've taken their food instead. They've taken their meal instead. Now, you could argue that's what the first world has been doing against the third world. And it's very interesting to see it here in the House of Lords round the lunch table.
Well, it obviously makes you dwell on the people thousands of miles away that don't have food, and what the solution is, and the need to focus on actually sorting it out.
This is not a comfortable lunch. Anybody who came here for a comfortable, nice lunch in the House of Lords will be disappointed. This is the thinking man's lunch.
I think it's a very good test altogether, and I think we've got to the stage in the evolution of the world that increasingly we can't be happy living an affluent life when we know there are people who don't have enough to eat. It's just not on, and it's perfectly possible to do something about it.
I think what we're about entering now is the thinking evolution. We've got to think differently. We've got to think more positively. We've got to value things differently. We've got to respect things differently. And we've got to try and look at all the problems of the world, because it's the equality of man. If my next door neighbour has a problem, then I have a problem. Who is my next door neighbour? Everybody.